guys, it's me, Tikaani, and I just lost a thumb war with some nail polish. My nails actually do look great if you just ignore the crime scene that is my cuticles. But other than that, you know, I painted my nails and that's pretty cool, so yeah, I got that going for me. Welcome to Am I the Asshole? It's like group therapy, but more about drama and fewer licensed professionals. Although everyone here claims to be a professional in some way, shape, or form. I mean, it's Reddit. Let's explore my favorite courtroom where everyone in the comments is a judge, jury, and sometimes an executioner. That was not like literally executioner, like metaphorical executioner, you know? I don't mean literally. Nobody's harming anybody. Well, okay, I don't know. Okay, let's just move on. So today we are going to be reading an Am I the Asshole titled Am I the Asshole for telling my wife the lock on my daughter's door does not get removed till my brother-in-law and his daughters are out of our house? My brother-in-law Sammy lost his home shortly after his divorce 10 months ago. He moved in with us and brought his twin daughters, Olivia and Sloane, who are both 18. His sister, my wife, and I have one daughter, Zoe, who's 16, and she and her cousins aren't close, but they get along just fine. Olivia and Sloane have no respect for Zoe's privacy. Absolutely none. They used to walk in her room and take everything they could get their hands on. Makeup, phone accessories, clothes, school laptop, etc. Zoe complained a lot, and I've already asked the girls to respect Zoe's privacy and stop taking things. My wife and Sammy saw no issue with this. After all, they're girls, and this is typical teenage girl behavior. I completely disagreed. My last straw was when Zoe bought a $60 MAC makeup kit that looks like a paint set that she saved up for over a month, and one of the girls, Sloane, took it without her permission and ruined it by mixing the shades together while using it. Don't know much about makeup, but that's what Zoe said when she found the kit on her bed and was crying. I told my wife, and she said she'd ask Sloane to apologize, but I got Zoe a lock after I found she was moving valuable belongings out of the house because of this incident. Oh my goodness. Okay, first, before we get into this, Sloane is freaking 18 years old, okay? Like, I'm no makeup connoisseur or like professional makeup artist, you know. I'm not out here like doing good at makeup, and even well, okay, listen. Okay, you look at this, okay? As you can probably tell, the white one in the top's got some purple in it, like you can barely see it, and that was an accident, okay? But like, what do you mean? You're mixing, like, you guys don't brush, like, she doesn't brush off her makeup brushes in between shades. I have, like, a ton of different eyeshadow brushes, but, you know, maybe you only have one. You know what they should get, though? One of these, you, like, scrub your... Didn't mean to hit myself in the mouth. But basically, you, like, scrub your brush on it, and then it'll get all of the shadows. So, Sloane, Miss 18-year-old, brush color remover, okay? You don't have to get specifically this brand. I don't even know where I got this. It's just here, and I use it, like, all the time, and I have no idea where this came from. But that being said, I feel like, I mean, I haven't read the rest yet, but I'm just saying, it kind of feels a little malicious, like, mixing up colors so bad that poor Zoe cried. Like, it says mixing shades together, so I'm wondering if it was multiple shades. I would very much like to see this makeup palette and see how much damage, but it definitely sounds like it was intentional. Like, you don't just go around easily mixing, like, colors. Like, you have to actually, like, get in there. At least in my experience, but maybe I'm just pretty careful, I don't know. But yeah, so let's continue. Sammy and his daughters saw the lock and weren't happy. The girls were extremely upset. Sammy asked about it and I straight up told him. He said, "My daughters aren't thieves. It's normal that girls of this age borrow each other's stuff." Okay, before I even finish this, borrowing and stealing are not the same thing. Okay, it's kind of crazy that he's like super defensive when, I don't think this guy said his name. Yeah, he didn't say his name. But when the dad over here, like, confronted him, just yelling back, "My daughters aren't thieves," did he call them thieves? Or did he just say that they stole something from her room? Because, you know, that's kind of deflecting. Like, why are you deflecting? Why are you saying that? He said Zoe could easily get another makeup kit for $15 from Walmart and shouldn't even be buying expensive adult makeup in the first place, and suggested my wife take care of this defect in Zoe's personality, trying to appear older than she is. He accused me of being overprotective and babying Zoe with this level of enablement. First of all, this guy, alright? So why did they have to borrow her MAC freaking makeup palette since they were raised so humbly and lovely and not, trying to appear older than they are? They probably wouldn't need that makeup palette. I mean, they're only 2 years apart. How come your 18-year-old can do it, but the 16-year-old can't have makeup? And also, no, that makeup kit was not $15. That was apparently $60, according to Zoe. And makeup isn't cheap like that. Why don't you buy your own kids' makeup then? God, I feel like a good solution is if the father here just was like, oh crap, I'm sorry my kids stole that palette or messed up. Even like maybe they didn't even steal it, okay? They just messed up the palette. We can all agree that they mixed shades and messed up the palette here, okay? Like, oh, my kids did that, I'm sorry, why don't I, replace the palette? Like, it's literally that simple. And I get, like, not everybody has, like, $60 and stuff. Well, don't fuck up somebody's makeup, god dang. Like, it's that simple. If it ain't yours, be gentle with it. What do you mean? And also him being like, oh, Zoe shouldn't buy adult makeup in the first place. I think that's ridiculous, okay? First of all, adult makeup is just makeup. It's not adult. It's not categorized by teen, adult, You have the kids' makeup, sure. That's different than other makeup, right? Because like the kids' makeup, I don't know. I didn't have kids' makeup. I don't know what kids' makeup is, but surely it's probably safer than regular makeup. I don't know. I'm not like, I don't have kids. I don't know. But like there isn't like a category for adult and teen makeup. It's just makeup. So it's kind of messed up for him to be like, oh, she's trying to be older and she's trying to appear older than she is. And then to accuse the dad of being overprotective and babying his daughter because he just wants to make sure that she doesn't feel taken advantage of and he's standing up for her. Okay, we need to continue before we make judgments. I told him this is between me and my wife, but she shamed me for putting a lock on Zoe's door for her cousins to see and prevent them from spending time with her, saying I was supposed to treat them like daughters. Then demanded I remove it, but I said this lock does not get removed till her brother and his daughters are out of the house. If he's supposed to be treating Sloane and, what's the other one's name? Sloane and Olivia. If he's supposed to be treating Sloane and Olivia as daughters, like, I'd be like, okay, cool. So we all agree I can punish them then? Make them pay up $30 each. Well, I guess I don't know if Olivia's a part of this, but we are confirmed Sloane is a part of this, okay? So Sloane needs to pay the $60 for a brand new makeup palette. It's like really that simple. Or like, I don't know, do something to make it up. I don't know. I don't think you can really save makeup like that. It's not like, it's not like you could just separate the grains, Like, you're not gonna get that eyeshadow back. So I do think that she should have to, like, pay for it or write a handwritten apology and stuff. So, but what do I know? And this thing, his wife accusing him of preventing them from spending time with each other is just crazy. Because Zoe has a lock on her door. She's not going to spend time with anybody? What? That doesn't even make any sense. Just having a lock on your door is just basic, like, privacy. I think every teenager should have a lock on their door because you don't want to know. I saw a Twitch stream one day where someone's mom came in and pulled up a stiff sock and was like, why is this sock hard? And don't touch things on the floor in boys' room, probably, I would imagine. Make them handle that. Okay. I don't know how someone would recover from that. Like, what was his excuse? What did he say? I want to know, but alas, I don't. Anyway, like, I think that it's just important for people to be able to have their privacy and their space. Like, I feel like people should be able to have a safe space to themselves that they know that nobody's going to invade. Like, just imagine you don't have anywhere to just, like, retreat to when you want to be alone. Like, that's awful. So I think that that's messed up. That she didn't even have a lock on her door, but like that's that's not like, I'm not saying like they're terrible people for not giving her a lock on the door. I just think they should be able to have a lock on their door. And I also think that even if Zoe wanted a lock on the door for like no reason, like she should be able to have a lock on her door. It's like that simple. But the fact that the sister is out here like, oh, you're stopping them from spending time together, that doesn't make sense. So they're all just hanging out in her room? You don't think that feels like privacy invading to Zoe? Zoe probably doesn't want them hanging out in her room. So the wife isn't on board with Zoe having a lock, and I think that's silly. And I respect the dad sticking up for Zoe and making sure that she gets to keep her lock and she gets to have her privacy. And sticking up for her when Sloane destroyed the makeup is really nice, and she has a very great father. So let's read this last paragraph. She got mad I was implying we kicked them out and said her family will hate me for this. So I reminded her that I let Sammy and his family move in, which is something her own family refused to do. So she should start with blaming them for not taking their own son and nieces and granddaughters. If it wasn't for her family's unwillingness to help, we wouldn't be dealing with this much disturbance at home. Everyone's been giving me and Zoe silent treatment, and my wife is very much upset about that. Why are you guys getting the silent treatment? I don't understand. I don't really understand what the problem is. Like, why is the dad in trouble here? Like, if anything, why isn't Sloane in trouble for destroying some makeup? Like, 18 years old and you don't know how to respect people's property? Like, that's something you didn't get taught? And also the fact that her own family wouldn't let them move in. I wonder why that is. Probably this. This is crazy. Listen, every family is different, okay? I have a relative who has their mom live with them, and their relationship is great, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Couldn't be me. I could not have my mom live with me. Different story. But, even when I moved my family from another state to live with me, and after like 6 months, I was getting a little overwhelmed. And unfortunately, I had to sit them down and be like, hey, you know, we bought this house for us. Like, we didn't anticipate having a whole bunch of other people living here too. So you just gotta move out. And they moved out. And were there some tears? Was it an awkward conversation? Yeah. But, you know, sometimes you have to have that. And I wasn't gonna rely on my husband to have that conversation. If his family was here, I would expect him to have that conversation with his family. And since it's my family, it's important for me to have that conversation. So in this, am I the asshole? Obviously, he is not the asshole. That's number one. Number two, the wife, the uncle, and Sloane. I don't know how Olivia was in this because I haven't seen Olivia mentioned really. It doesn't look like she was actually a part of the destroying of the makeup, at least not written down that she was, but I don't know. It could be Sloane and it could be her, or it could just be Sloane. Whoever it is, I think it's still messed up. But yeah, Sloane, the wife, and her brother are just all assholes here, and him and Zoe are absolutely not for this. I think it's weird that the mom is so upset about the lock on Zoe's door. I don't understand why she would be upset about that. Like, what do you mean you're upset that your daughter has some privacy? I think women and men and everybody deserves a lock on their door and privacy, honestly, okay? That's just where I stand with that. And no child should have to, like, worry about not being able to have their own home be their safe space. Are you joking? Like, this is their home. And it's really cool and really emotionally mature for the dad to, you know, take his daughter's side and not let her just become the black sheep of the family, and apparently the one that they're gonna steal stuff from. Like, this is teaching her good boundaries and that she deserves to have her boundaries respected. Chef's kiss. Love that. So A+ to the dad for that. F for the brother for immediately not punishing his daughter. If someone tells you your daughter did something bad, maybe he could have, I don't know, like went to his daughter and was like, hey, can you explain what happened? And then go from there. You know, make sure you get all the facts, because, you know, there's 3 sides to every story. There's yours and the truth, you know? So like, everyone's gonna see it in their own perspective. But the fact that he was instantly like, my daughters aren't thieves, it's kind of suspicious to me. It's giving, my daughter stole something and were called thieves before. Like, I didn't see anywhere where he said that his daughters were straight up thieves. I don't know if he straight up called them thieves, or if he just, like, was like, hey, your child destroyed my child's freaking makeup palette. I feel like, yeah, like, that dad is terrible. Okay. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Okay. You're terrible. Also, why couldn't the girls stay in the home with the mom? Why did the dad and the 2 daughters get kicked out? Is what I'm curious. Because it says that he was divorced 10 months ago. Well, it does. Okay, never mind. It says that he lost his home shortly after his divorce 10 months ago and then moved in with his twin daughters. So I'm guessing maybe the wife left the daughters with him and they got the home and stuff. So that's probably why he has that. It's not really common that the kids get given to the father. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder when he lost his home shortly after his divorce 10 months ago. So I assume the daughters were like 17, 18 when the divorce was going on. If it was 10 months ago, like 18 minus a year is, 17 math. So they're old enough now to leave. Okay, all I'm saying is they're old enough now to leave. Okay, they are 18-year-olds who need to find their own home to live in. And I know that's hard to say in this climate and stuff, and I'm so lucky that we got to buy our house before everything. So we've been living here for a long time. 10 years actually. But anyway, I know it's not realistic in this day and age to expect an 18-year-old just leave the house and go find a home to rent. However, I think the circumstances for this are different since it's the brother and his twin daughters living in his sister's home. I feel like the girls should have tried to move out by now, assuming that they're graduated from high school. If they're not graduated from high school, that's a whole nother can of worms. I don't know. But still, I think that he lost his home 10 months ago and then he moved in with them a couple months ago. So I wonder, first of all, where was he living that 10 months to a couple months? That in-between time. I wonder where he was living. Did he just get to stay at the house until they let him move or something? Or did he find an apartment? Because I would love to know because when I was living in apartments, you didn't pay monthly. You paid yearly. Not all at once, but you're in a year-long contract. So I think it's interesting that apparently he was only in his rented house for a couple months, and I wonder why that is, and it makes me wonder if he was kicked out. But if he's been living there for a couple months, I feel like they should hopefully have had a talk by now saying, hey, you gotta move out before this all happened, because clearly it was uncomfortable having them in the house since, they apparently have no respect for Zoe's privacy and were taking things constantly, phone accessories, clothes, school, laptop, makeup, etc. And Zoe complained a lot about it, and he asked the girls to respect her privacy. But I think that he needed to confront the dad and be like, hey, you gotta get out with your kids if this is gonna be this situation, because this isn't right. Well, I think the wife should have said it because it's her brother. Okay, if it's her family, she's the one that should be dealing with this, but clearly she thinks that this is okay, and this is absolutely not okay. I don't know why she thinks this is okay, but this is not okay. No child should be stealing from another child, okay? Anywhere. But I don't know. I think that the sister definitely should have said something to him herself, and I think it's important for couples to be a united front. So if the dad was feeling this way, I hope that he had approached the sister and was like, hey, your brother's gotta move, this is happening. I wonder why the sister didn't put a stop to it beforehand. Clearly, since she's mad about the lock and saying that the kids won't spend time together because her daughter has her own room and has privacy and is able to not have her stuff stolen, that's a negative thing. I don't understand why the mom would be so not on her kid's side. That's just crazy to me. And this is coming from someone whose mom was terrible, okay? I'm not gonna go into it because that's not what this is about. But it's just so sad. Reading this, man, the wife didn't stand up for the daughter or anything. Well, hopefully at some point she did, but the interpretation I'm kind of getting here is that the dad has to defend his daughter against not only her uncle and her 2 cousins that are stealing from her, but also the wife, because she's not on her husband's side, which is crazy to me, and she's not on her kid's side, which is crazy to me. Come on. The twin girls are both 18. They're adults. They can move out. The brother is who knows how old, and he's clearly been apparently living there for a couple months, and your husband's ready for them to go. Kick him out, man. I don't know what to tell you. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. But why don't we read what some other people are saying? So this person commented, not the don't back down. You're the only one sticking up for Zoe. If her cousins want to use expensive makeup, give them your wife's. I guarantee she won't appreciate sharing anymore. They need to start behaving like appreciative guests. To which OP responded, you know, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but my wife has been acting like a hypocrite lately, especially regarding privacy issues. She considers privacy something very important, but still thought that Zoe did not have the right to get a lock, even if we leave her cousins out of this matter. My wife is not agreeing with the whole concept of getting a lock for Zoe. I explained to her what's been happening, even told her that Zoe has been moving some of the valuable belongings into a friend's house to keep them safe. Do I blame her? Absolutely not. But my wife still thought Zoe was wrong to do that. Now her cousins are upset, and they and Sammy are using the silent treatment, among other things like eating without us or not sitting with us, as a guilt tactic. Even though it's not affecting me, it's making Zoe feel like she did something wrong by having a lock for her room. That is so sad. Like, I feel so bad for Zoe. I wonder, is the mother a part of the cousins and Mr. Sammy giving the silent treatment and eating without them and not sitting near them and stuff? Because he did say earlier that the wife was also giving him the silent treatment, so I'm curious if she also extended out to this. And if not, then surely she can recognize that since she wasn't gonna do it, that it probably is inappropriate for her brother to do that and her nieces to do that. You know, like, to treat Zoe so badly just because she has protection and a lock on her door and they can't get into her stuff anymore. And also the fact that the wife is a hypocrite and really wants, like, cares about her privacy but not other people's privacy. Ooh, that is, like, all kinds of annoying to me. I don't want to say triggering, because I wouldn't say it's really triggering, but it's, like, it's hitting some memories, and it's making me annoyed. Oh, that's crazy to me. It's so weird how people will sit there, and they will look you in your face, and they will tell you something so important to them, but if the same thing is important to you, i.e. privacy, they just, like, don't care. Like, they have boundaries that you have to respect, but they don't have to respect your boundaries. That's just ridiculous to me. That is, like, a whole reason why I don't talk to some of my family. And I just think that, like, that's crazy. Like, if you love someone and they put a boundary down, you should respect their boundary. As long as their boundary is appropriate and it's about them, as long as, like, they have to communicate that to you and then you follow it. It's really that simple, just communication. So I feel so terrible for Zoe. And this person is absolutely correct that they can use his wife's stuff if they want to use expensive makeup. You know, the adult makeup, because they shouldn't really be playing with adult makeup. They should be playing with kids' makeup because they're little kids, right? I mean, that's what Sammy thought. Next, we have not the asshole. Your wife harbors someone who tells you that Zoe has a defect in her personality for buying an expensive makeup kit. That's the kind of thing that has people thinking about divorce. And then this person says, exactly. As a mother myself, I cannot fathom how any mother would let someone treat their child like that, even if it's family. That would have bought them a one-way ticket right out my front door. If your kid can't count on you to protect them, who can they count on? Not the asshole. Oh my god, yes, that's exactly it. Oh my god, if your kid can't count on you, who are they supposed to count on? You're their parent. You're supposed to be in their corner. It's one thing to tell your kid, hey, you did something wrong. Here's said punishment for said wrong thing you've done. Or, like, you know, let's work on this to not have this situation happen again. Or whatever the teaching moment is. You should be giving that to your kid, but you should also be helping them and protecting them when other people are attacking them in some way. Your child can still do something wrong, and you recognize that as a parent and deal with that, but also not let other people degrade your kid or say anything terrible about your kid or, like, do stuff like that. Like, in her own home, she doesn't even feel safe enough to have her stuff in her house. And that is just honestly so sad. This person commented, as a parent, I know I can't stop the world from saying bad things about my children. It breaks my heart, but to a certain extent, you have to allow it to happen so that they learn to overcome it without being destroyed. But the idea of not only giving that person a home, but defending them, then attacking the character of the only person on their side is appalling to me. Mom gets no slack cut from me on this one. She should be ashamed of herself. Good on OP, not the asshole. Yes, while it is true that you do want your children to learn and overcome things, and the best way to learn is by making mistakes, you know? It's by doing said thing and making mistakes and growing from it. But when it comes to your own home, I think that if it's your home, you should be able to feel safe and protected in it. So I think that comment about them having to overcome stuff is kind of like irrelevant. Is irrelevant a word? No, it's not. Irrelevant is a word? Okay. Yeah, I just feel like it's not really relevant to this conversation because she doesn't have anything to learn. All Zoe is learning is that her family is a bunch of assholes, except for the dad. And that's sad. But it's great that she's being protected by her dad. At least there's somebody in her corner and she's not completely alone, and I think that's awesome. This person said, I have someone living with me, a very close friend, and he said my 3-year-old was Damien and defective because he was running around like a madman playing. I very quickly got upset and told him never to call my son anything but his name ever again or he'd be living under a bridge. Yes! Oh my gosh, what a good parent. Exactly. Like, nobody should be calling your kids anything. It doesn't matter if your kid's being a rowdy little brat. You should be the parent of your kid, and as long as you're putting your kid in their place and helping them grow, I say putting in their place. I don't mean like punishment putting them in their place. I just mean like helping them find their place in the world. And what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? I don't know. Respect other people. You gotta care about other people too. You gotta have empathy and you gotta be understanding and not be super selfish and stealing your little cousin's makeup. Miss Sloan. This person says, not the asshole, and then they quoted, my daughters aren't thieves. It's normal to go around borrowing stuff. And they said his daughters are in fact thieves because there's a thin line between stealing and borrowing, and that is our bestie consent. Ooh, we love them. His daughters don't ask yours for permission on whether they can take something from her or not. They help themselves into her room, into her cabinets, closet, take whatever they feel entitled to, use it however they want, even if they destroy it. And then if your daughter might see the object they stole. Am I having a hard time like reading? Where's my comprehension? I don't know if they're saying and then if so your daughter might see the object they stole from her again as like they destroy it and then give it back to her, or they don't give it back at all. Like if they give it back, maybe I'm interpreting this wrong. I think that's what they mean. They were basically saying if so, like, if they destroy it, then they'll bring it back to her and give it back to her. And that's only if they destroy it. Otherwise, they might just steal it. They're saying you're an amazing parent to Zoe. Zoe will forever be grateful for having her back the way a parent should. Whereas your wife, I don't know if the fact that those are her brother's daughters or if she just doesn't care about people going through her daughter at whatever cost just to steal her property and damage it. Also funny how it went from my daughters aren't thieves to my daughters just wanted to spend time with yours and now they aren't allowed to do so, sad face. Yeah, that too. Like, it's just like the quick like deflect, my daughters aren't thieves, and also you're bad, your daughter's bad. Like, it's that Darvo, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. It's a classic in a narcissist book, which I got to grow up with. So, you know, it's a classic thing to use. But the deny and attack, the instant my daughters not thieves, my daughters aren't thieves, deny, right? And then my daughters just wanted to spend time with yours, attack. You're making the victim be the offender because she doesn't want to spend time with the girls that stole her makeup. But it's her fault, not the people that stole the makeup. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. This one, this person said, you married into trash and now it's all over your house. I won't call people trash, but I will say that the brother-in-law to him, Zoe's uncle, is kind of smelling a little stinky. And the mom is also being a little stinky. Okay, like, what's wrong with you, mom? Okay, you should be defending your daughter. Poor Zoe over here, just like minding her own business, getting her stuff stolen from, and has a lock on her door, and you're just gonna let these people give your daughter the silent treatment? Ugh. This person said, can't believe the amount of people who think this story is real. How anyone can seriously believe this is real is beyond me. And I saved this comment because what I wanted to say about this one is that I totally believe that this story is like 100% real. As someone who grew up in like a traumatizing household with a traumatizing narcissistic parent. You would be surprised about how parents will treat their kids when no one's around. And just because you might have had a happy childhood, I mean, I don't know if this person had a happy childhood, I'm not saying that, but just because someone might not have experience with trauma, they just assume that all parents treat their kids well because they didn't get trauma from their parents. So, you know, obviously parents just be treating like that. I think it's called perspective bias. Perspective bias. Perspective bias is when you believe your own point of view is more accurate, normal, or important than other people's, even when it's not. It's like thinking your way of seeing the world is the default and forgetting that others might see it differently. Just because you might not think this is real, like I've seen some stuff. Okay, I lived in quite a few small towns and I've seen some stuff, and growing up in a traumatizing household, I've seen some stuff there too. Okay, so you know, I could see this being real. People really do act like this. People really will have strong boundaries for themselves while also breaking those boundaries for other people. Like that's like a common thing that people do. I don't know why, but they do it. So that's, you know, that's something. This person said, "You might be a chauvinist," to this guy. I don't know why he said that. And now I need to know the definition of chauvinist. Chauvinist, not chauvinist, chauvinist. It's someone who believes that their group, usually gender or nationality, is inherently superior. It's used to describe men who think men are better than women. Okay, so it wasn't really giving that for me. I don't understand why they would think that he was being a chauvinist. Did they just comment that? I don't know. Some people sometimes, okay, what I have gathered from Reddit is sometimes people will just comment things because they want whatever, I guess, karma or whatever, or negative karma. I don't know. Some people just comment things and it's like the most abhorrent take I've ever seen. Like, Reddit is something else, man. You just gotta go on there to really see it. And this person said, "Don't get married and have kids. Just spread your seed and hope that one becomes strong enough to surpass you." What does that mean? Why are these two people, and these two people didn't even delete it, so it doesn't even say deleted. It straight up says their username, which obviously I'm gonna crop out because I am not that kind of person. So I'm sorry if your comment was here and you wanted your name on here, but I feel like Reddit is more for privacy and stuff. So, you know, these people asked for opinions and I'm reading the opinions, and these opinions aren't good. The silent treatment means silent. Peace and quiet are well worth it. I disagree. The silent treatment can be really upsetting for kids. It can be really upsetting for anybody. I've dealt with the silent treatment and I get very triggered when I'm talking to somebody and they're not replying to me. Or if they're just being quiet for way too long, it stresses me out because I feel like I'm in trouble. And that's what getting the silent treatment does to people. People that will just give their kids the silent treatment. It's messed up. You know, they need guidance. They need you to be emotionally mature so you can help them become emotionally mature, you know? So I think there should be a test for kids. If you're gonna have a kid, I think you should have to pass the "we can have a kid" test. You know, maybe everybody all the boys get a vasectomy as soon as they can, where it won't vasectomies are reversible. Let me make sure. Vasectomies are reversible, but they're not always successful, so you can't always reverse your vasectomy, so that is unfortunate. It says the longer it's been since your vasectomy, the lower the chances of restoring fertility. And then success can depend on the procedure, the method, and the person who is getting their reversal. So yeah, maybe giving all men vasectomies probably isn't realistic. I mean, it's not realistic anyway. They run the world, so I don't think men are gonna push vasectomies. They probably would rather force women to take pills. Anyway, so let's, you know, by pills I mean birth control, by the way, in case you were wondering. So, love living in a patriarchy. It's my favorite part of life. This person said, "Hey Reddit, my family is literally crazy. Meanwhile, I'm completely sane. Am I the asshole? Any other stupid questions today? How about, is water wet?" I think it's okay to post. I mean, obviously, we don't know the other people's side of the story, and of course, people love to talk about their perspective, and their perspective is the true perspective, and they'll miss, key points of things happening. You know, we don't know the full situation, and from what we did read, which I am reading as gospel because it's more fun for me that way, so I'm just assuming that the the original poster, is not a liar, and all of this is true. So, you know, if you don't believe that, that's fine. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just some post on Reddit. Like, no, it's fine. Nobody's gonna come at you, okay? It's okay. Well, I guess people might come at you, actually. People do not like it when people disagree. So Reddit is something, you know? Anyway, let's move on. This person said, they quoted the post, and they quoted the part that said, "I said this lock does not get removed till her brother and his daughters are out of the house." And they replied, "I would say that this is not quite the right idea. I would say the lock does not get removed till Zoe wants it removed. Not before then and not after. Not before then and not..." Oh, okay. I think they're saying not before then and not after. Like, not after the brothers and daughters leave, and not before Zoe's ready to have it removed. Okay. This might be the same time, but it's a different in intent. Her room, her choice. She might not make the right choice, but she's old enough to make it and learn from it. I mean, what? I don't think setting up your kids to fail, which, I mean, that's not what he's saying. It's just, this is kind of completely unrelated. You know, I have ADHD, so I don't think setting your kids up to fail as like a learning experience is a good idea. So I don't think that he should just like let her make a bad choice, which, I mean, saying that she might not make the right choice is saying that she might not make, you know, the right choice. You're just gonna let her make a bad choice. If it's not the right choice, it'd be a bad choice, right? Yeah, Zoe should be able to have the lock on her room for as long as she wants to have the lock on her room. I agree with that. And then he quoted, "I got Zoe a lock," and they commented, "It's not clear from this what Zoe wanted. You don't say anything about that at all. Was it her idea, or did she agree to your idea? What were her wishes? You don't mention them. Also, taking without permission, without someone's consent, and against their wishes is not borrowing. Again, permission, consent is Zoe's to give, or not. Everyone seems to be forgetting that. Not the asshole." So I will say about this part where he's saying it's not clear that this is what Zoe wanted, I don't think she would be upset about a lock. It'd be different if he was like, I don't know, canceling her freaking summer trip to whatever she wanted to do because her cousins were mean to her and he didn't want her to go through that. Like, that's different. But putting a lock on her door, there is literally no negative thing that could be done from putting a lock on her door. Ooh, you give her more privacy? Okay. What more could happen? Like, that's it. This isn't, I don't know. It's just weird. I think that they're nitpicking the fact that, they're saying that it's not the right idea that he got the lock because of the brothers and daughters, and that Zoe deserves to have a lock. But also, this person keeps typing Zoe instead of Zoe. So, you know, it's Zoe. Even when you quoted it, it says, "I got Zoe a lock." So I don't think everybody that is known as Zoe just goes by Zoe. Her name is clearly Zoe. This person said, "It's called being an adult. Zoe is young and might not be aware that what they call is borrowing is actually full-fledged stealing. So yes, I'd keep the lock on her door to stop the daughters from stealing her things, whether Zoe wants me to or not. Sometimes you gotta do things for your children don't like. This isn't being controlling. This is showing them how to not let people walk all over them. Plus, half the stuff in her room was probably bought by him, so it's also in his best interest to not let it get thieved." Yeah, I guess. For the, what they call borrowing is actually full-fledged stealing, and that Zoe is young and might not be aware of it. I will say I do agree with that as well, as people, like children who grow up in abusive homes, they usually don't realize their home was abusive until they've left and they've processed the world in their way. Sometimes they won't even say that their home was abusive. They'll just gaslight themselves into thinking that they had a perfect childhood, and that's their coping mechanism. And for some of us, we went into therapy and talked to a therapist, and they were like, "Hey, she shouldn't have done that. She shouldn't have done that. She shouldn't have done that." And you're just like, you know, all these things. So I think that she's young and she's not aware. I do agree. Even though she's 16 years old, I still agree that she needs her dad. She needs her mom in her corner too, but clearly she's not going to be there. But she needs her dad in her corner, and luckily her dad can be there and do that for her, and is doing that for her as a good parent should. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of weird that this person was like, "You're not respecting her privacy. Like, she didn't, like, or you're not respecting her desires. Like, what if she didn't want a lock?" Like, that's so weird. like I think, what do you mean? Who's gonna say no to a lock on your door? She could just not use it, right? It's not like the lock is like something that she's required to use. Unless he's thinking it's like a deadbolt lock, which I highly doubt it's a deadbolt lock. It's probably just a lock handle or a little lock slide. Who knows what the lock is? We don't even know what the lock is. It could be any kind of lock. So, you know, I think she'll be fine with the lock. Thank you so much for joining me on today's Reddit recap? I don't know. But yeah, no, this is an interesting Am I the Asshole post, and I had fun reading it and reading all of these responses, even if some of them were a bit something else. But I would love to know what your thoughts are on this. Do you think, well, I mean, it's clear that the dad's in the right. Like, it's clear that the dad's in the right. Do you think that Zoe should have had to consent to having a lock put on her door? Like, do you think she should have had to ask for that? I disagree with that statement. I definitely disagree with that statement. And, like, I think that the dad is doing a great job, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just missing something here. So, why don't you just tell me that in the comments, right? Feed the algorithm. Feed the algorithm with a little like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next video. Bye, guys.